Okay, it's Randy here, and I'm logged into my workbook at Manheim. Now, I love being a car dealer or having a car dealer's license. First off, let me tell you, I am not the principal of the dealership. I'm an associate dealer, and I'm going to go into this video and show you a little bit. As you can see, I picked out 50 vehicles, and the auction is tomorrow. Starts at 9:30 Central Time. And I'll be there about 7 o'clock in the morning to inspect some of the cars that I've picked out of my workbook. Um, and sometimes I bid on things other than cars. You can see I'm looking at a 1981 Procraft boat. It does have a motor and trailer. Let's click on it here. Take a look at it. Manheim will show you the pictures of the boats. It's going to show you several pictures. So normally boat, motor, and trailers do not go for very much money at car dealer only auctions. So it's something that I look for, and we purchased a few of them. We enjoy them while we're selling them. So that's the benefits of having a dealer's license and buying straight from Manheim. The next one you see, I'm looking at a 2011 Nissan Rogue, and I'll explain the MMR is actually what these vehicles are currently selling across the country for. An average of all of them are selling across the country. You can see the vehicle has 138,000 miles on it. It's automatic 4-cylinder, and the MMR 4675. I know the seller pretty good on this car, and that's very important when you're buying a car at auto auction. You want to know the seller. This guy wholesales a lot of cars, but he also has a used car lot. So one of the things that I always question about him is why he's taking these cars to an auction when he has a retail lot. So that's what you want to question a lot about it because he is retail and wholesale. So I've bought a few cars from him that weren't up to par. He represents everything as being perfect, but they're not perfect. So you must do your due diligence when you're not buying, or especially when you're buying from a retail used car dealer. Now this guy is Essen Motor Company. One thing that I do when I'm looking for a seller, Essen has a retail lot, but he's primarily a wholesaler. And so we're looking at a 2004 Volkswagen Beetle. It has 70,000 miles on it, has an MMR of 2100. As you can see, it's up here in my workbook here. In the spring, the car business is seasonal often because when the top goes back down, the price goes up. So in the spring and fall are real good months to look at convertibles. And so I do that. I never rule out convertibles when I'm approaching the spring. If they're cheap enough, I'll buy them in the winter as well. So you can see, like I said, I've got about 50 vehicles in here. I go through all these vehicles and I make notes on these vehicles. So here's the 2006 Ford F50. Got the MMR of 4875. Got a nice looking truck, 83,000 miles. I'm not familiar with this seller, so I'll do my due diligence and really inspect this truck because it is a low miles truck. So there's obviously a reason that this guy is selling it and not retailing it. So one of the next things that we do, and I want to go here and show you one that I really like. Okay, here's a new car dealer here. Now this is the type of trade-in that I like to get. The guy's a new car dealer. You're looking at a Ford truck here, odometer 132,000 miles. It's Ford Explorer, but it's 132,000 miles. So he's probably, being a new Ford dealer, he would go ahead and dispose of this vehicle. Um, so yeah, I'll still do my due diligence uh, on the vehicle, but I really like to buy from new car dealers when I'm buying my used cars. Here's another new car dealer, which is Darrell Waltrip Honda. Uh, I buy a lot of cars. We all here buy a lot of cars from Darrell Waltrip Honda. Uh, they are slow about getting titles. Most of the time we're waiting 3 weeks or better, just under the mark to get a title. You know, we have a 30-day mark that where we can return the vehicle and get a full refund on it if the title is not available to us in 30 days. Now, we're looking at this Honda Odyssey because we have a lot of people that like these Honda Odysseys all the time. Every time we post one on Facebook or Craigslist, they go extremely fast. And so uh, here's another one from Darrell Waltrip Honda. I don't have an image of it, but it's something that I put in my workbook, and I print my workbook off first thing every Tuesday morning, and I head to the auction with my workbook and I start inspecting vehicles. Now, the beauty part of having a dealer auction access is that I'll be able to look at almost 900 vehicles. As a matter of fact, it's 927 vehicles that are going through the auction. And if you don't have a dealer's license and you want to flip cars, you're actually forced to try to find them on Craigslist or Facebook. You're running all over the country to get them. I really just choose to uh, use my time. A lot of people complain about auction fees. That's kind of ridiculous to complain about auction fees because when you're running around all over Craigslist and Facebook and you get there, most of the time you find out you're buying from a car flipper anyway, and the car is not described as it was described to you over the phone. Do any of you ever have that happen to you? That you go look at a car and the car is not described and you've wasted perhaps 100 miles and 2 or 3 hours of your time to get there and find a piece of junk car. So having auction access is an incredible advantage if you like to utilize your time and see almost 1,000 vehicles at one location. And trust me, this is only one location. We go to Mannheim, we go to Odessa, we have a couple of other dealer-only auctions here that we go to. So we actually preview approximately 6,000 to 7,000 cars a week, and we do it within 30 miles of where we live. So time and travel are very crucial to how much money you make on a vehicle. And so if you're sitting there looking at Craigslist and you're hoping something pops up that you can buy, personally for me, I just couldn't go that route. Now here's the 2004 Trailblazer, again from Darrell Waltrip. He's got a lot. Darrell runs a lot of cars through the auction here. Here's a 4x4 Blazer with a $2,300 MMR, 128,000 miles. Obviously, it's not his kind of a vehicle. He's a new car dealer, so he's not interested in selling, not necessarily super high mileage cars, but anything traditionally over $100,000. Darrell Waltrip runs them through the auction, and so you know, like I said, we save a lot of time doing that. Here's the 2002 Lexus 3275. I can go on and on. Here's another one that I really like. I've got one of these in a V8. I wouldn't mind having another one in a V6. It's got a $4,000 MMR. Now, what that means, that doesn't necessarily mean that the car is going to bring $4,000. This may be a $3,000 or even a $2,000 car when it hits the lanes. They're taking an average of all the Mannheim dealerships over the country. And so that average comes up to $4,000. Let's click on it and take a look at the Jeep here. It looks good. It looks, the paint on it looks nice. We can go through it here. We can check all the body, rolls around nice. Interior looks good on it. Doesn't look like it's been detailed, because if you look right here, you will see that there's some kind of debris on the floor here. So this means really that the car has probably been maintained very well by the previous owner. Now, of course, it's got 127,000 miles. We do extremely well with cars just over 100,000 miles. So I'm looking forward to visiting it. Now, if I want to click on here, I got a free auto check. Now, it's a brief auto check by having a dealer only access. And it shows no problems with the title. It's had 5 owners on it, and so it doesn't give me the details, but it does give me a summary of the car. 5 owners. Okay, I'm not really happy about that, but it doesn't turn me off. I'm still going to look at the car, feel comfortable with it. So going on and on and on, click here, go back to my workbook. It's very important that you put a lot of cars in your workbook and you get there early enough to inspect the majority of those cars, or especially the ones that you're super interested in. And we buy cheap cars here occasionally. We do well with people here that are looking for $1,500, maybe $2,000 cars. And when you get into that price range, you're going to be looking at a 200,000 mile car. It's just that simple. But it shows, you can see here, it's a Dodge Stratus. There's no picture of the car, 201,000 miles. But hey, it's got a $325 MMR. So the most I could lose if I bought that car would be a couple of $100, or really about $100, because by the time you add auction fees into it, that's going to be about $165. So that's going to put me about $490 in a car that, if I had to weigh it out and take it to a salvage yard, would bring me about $300. So I like to buy these cars if they're running through the lane, because my risk factor is so low. A couple of $100 on a car that I could lose, but my potential on it, I could make $1,000 on it. So I gamble with it a lot of times. Here's an 01 Explorer. Here's another 4x4 Jeep Cherokee. The MMR is stupid on this car. Somebody's made an error as far as the MMR. There's no way that an 07 Cherokee has an MMR of $12,650. So obviously this is something that I'm going to go through. It's being offered by a credit union, so that's telling me that it's been repossessed. So I'll go through it very cautiously, and I'm a definite prospect on the car. I do well with Jeep products, and especially if they're 4x4s. I do very well with them. So that's what we're looking at, and we can just go on and on and on. I don't want to take up your time to show you all 50 of them, but I wanted to give you a good idea here. Here's a 2002 Dodge Durango 4x4. Again, this thing is heavy. It's being offered by a used car dealer. Got an MMR of $675, which again is what this average car is going for. I can probably get the car in the $300 to $400 range. Of course, I'm going to have auction fees on top of that, being about $165. But there's the MMR. That's what I want to point out to you. Does not necessarily mean that's what the car will go for. It's just what that car is currently going for, or cars similar to that, same miles, in different areas of the country. That's the average of $2,300.